Believe it or not, you weren't even paying attention to me. He didn't take care of the problem. Well, you have to. He couldn't use the other time. Okay. You can't go backwards. Okay. Yes, you will. That's what you got. Yeah, there you go. All right. Congratulations. Thanks for coming. Okay, we'll go ahead and give away this tool set too. Tom just finished getting prepared. VP Patel. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations!
Do my own maintenance.
There you go.
You know what? We'll go ahead and give away the next Solomatic some type of a stool. Holy chair. Holy chair. Okay. No. Ron White. Wow, there you go. Yeah. Congratulations. Thanks, sir. It's a credit that you can use for any Solomatic product, but chair is what they suggest. If you don't like that, you get $194. Just let us know what you want. Congratulations. Thanks for coming. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead. I think we're prepared for our next presentation. Oh, yes. Can I'd like to introduce, for those of you who don't know, Bill Bittner. He's going to have to leave before too long. Very happy to have Bill here again.
Thank you. I was I'm a salesman, so I got to do a sales pitch. Steve Sedgelink. I think he's locked himself in the office because he's bored. He's lonely. But I think earlier on they handed out some 2 flyers about our finance promotions, and I just want to give a plug for that. A couple things to think about. If you're on the fence right now in terms of equipment purchases, you're not sure whether you want to make it, Steve's here today, and if you would like, literally take 10 minutes of your time and fill out a credit application. Steve can give you an approval, and it's good for 30 days. So if you're on the fence and you're not sure or you want to make a purchase today, we can give you that answer, yes or no, with about 10 minutes of your time. It's a nice way of getting that taken care of now. The other thing I will do is, one of the promotions has a no payments for 120 days. If you have no desire to use our finance promotion, thinking our rates aren't as competitive as maybe what you could get on your own, why not use our money for 120 days? Use that to bridge the gap between buying the equipment now, giving you the time you need to get your financing in place, and pay it off 100%, no penalty. There is one cost, and the cost only occurs if the loan actually funds. It's $300, and we roll it into the principal amount of the loan. And if you're financing that over 7 years, it's a very small amount of money. Okay? But you don't get hit with that $300 until the loan funds. So if you want to get your application on file, get an answer, there's no obligation to use the program. And in my opinion, it's just another set of eyes to validate that you are a good credit risk. And we finance laundries, and that's all we finance. So we're pretty good at it. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that today. Steve's here. You don't have to worry about taking care of it after the fact. That's why we bring him down. That's my pitch.
Well, exactly. That 120 days, obviously, I can't even do the math in my head, but your first payment will be somewhere around February. So you have plenty of time to increase income and gain some income off your new machine before you ever have to make your first payment. So it's definitely a great way to do things. It's going on through the end of November, but the special show pricing that we have goes on today and the next couple days. We have to have our order in by the end of the week to kind of make it all work. So if anybody needs any equipment, you really need to let us know, especially for the extra discounted pricing. The financing goes on for a little while longer, but the extra show discount, which is what Mr. Bittner offered for us, which is the best we've ever had, to be honest with you, is available today and probably through Friday. So just let us know if you have any needs on equipment. Without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Tom and let him get started with this presentation.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Tom.
And thank you, Bill. Okay, that was a great lunch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that fish was fantastic. Hey, Basically, what I want to talk about this afternoon is how to gain the competitive advantage. You know, a lot of times, you know, we're out there, we're struggling, there's people struggling around us. You know we're in a pretty good industry when you look and see of all the failures out there, and we're still there. We've weathered the worst of the storm, right? And we're still here. And that says a lot. How often do you see a lights out laundromat? How often do you see a lights out retail store? Often. Restaurants, startups, come and go, fast foods, some of them come and go. You know, we're in a pretty good industry. And so what we want to do is, there's no industry that you can say is recession proof, but I'd say we're as close as you get to it. And heck, we don't even take credit cards. Isn't that amazing? So we've done a lot with what we do. And we're going to talk today about how we can become more competitive in using the quantum world. A case in point that there's money in laundry, right? A picture with no caption. It's about a $100,000 pickup truck. It's built on like a semi, and it's advertised in a $1 wash all day. Probably couldn't put a sign out front, so he thought he'd just park that old truck up front with the sign on it. That's real. That's a store owner up in Indianapolis that does that. And he moves his truck around different places. You think he's writing off the truck? Figured out the paper is toy. But anyhow, I thought that was cute. By the way, the $1 wash all day, every day is a promo he's doing. You know, he has a lot of competition, and he just decided that he was going to go out and make it a point to get everybody in the store at least once, twice, 3 times. You get them in your store once, you got a good chance to retain them. You get them in your store twice, it gets much better. 3 times, you got them forever. All right? So what, if you ever do promos, you got to make them long enough to think about that cycle. 1, 2, 3. You got to break the chain, okay, of what they do. And once you do, you got them forever, as long as you take care of them. Hey, so what is a competitive advantage? You know, it's superiority gained by a firm when it can provide the same value as its competitors but a lower price, or can charge higher prices by providing greater value through differentiation. That's very important, through differentiation. What did we talk about today that gives you differentiation? Just got done talking about it. Credit cards, right? Anybody else have them? Hardly anybody. Differentiation, greater value. Competitive advantage results from matching core competencies to the opportunities. What do? We're not a convenience store that sells beer, cigarettes, wine. We're a laundry. We sell the laundry business. What do people take out of our stores? Those are here in the morning? Our utilities, right? That's what we're selling, utilities. So we got to talk about those utilities. But our core competency is to provide those utilities at the most efficient way possible to extract as much profitability out of their transaction. So we're going to talk about that. Okay? Why change? You know, why not just let everything be the way it is? After all, when you look at it, my store's doing okay. Utility bills are continuing to climb. More machines are maybe down lately. Repairs are becoming more costly. Competition is doing time-of-day pricing, or $1 or something else. Having a hard time competing with that. Business is off, but I hope it will come back. Should I renew my lease? I'm getting close to the end. What do? Do they want to renew it with me? Do I spend any money? Do I sell my store? What value does it have? Could someone else provide a better customer experience? You know, one of the things about customer experience, go around your neighborhood and see what the others are doing. And see if they're more desirable. Would you do your laundry there? Send your wife. Send your husband. Send a neighbor or friend. Family member. Have them come back and say, you know, they had electric doors. That was pretty cool. you know, I'm dragging 3 kids and a whole lot of laundry in. Think about that, and I'm doing it twice a week. You think electric door might be a differentiation? Sure. How about, you know, ease of access? You know, is it a high curb? Do I have parking? I'm fighting everybody else around me, 8 deep in a parking lot versus parking right in front. All the things that could be different and change that customer experience that you may be losing out on. You may have pluses, they may have pluses. You just got to make sure yours shine better than theirs. And if they don't, what are you going to do differently? Because if you go back up this and say, you know, I'm going to wait till things get better, do they? If you do nothing, do you expect things to improve? No. Never works that way. You know, business goes like this, and then what happens? You have that first initial big bump, then it kind of goes like this for years. And then as things get older, things get a little more, well, how should I say, worn out. It starts to go like this because there's others that might be a little better. And then eventually, if somebody does a total rehab in your area of their store or a new one, you reach the cliff. Can you sell it after the cliff? Will you get your money back? Will it be an investment to the next person? It may not look as good. So those are the things that you have to consider. You know, how does my store look? How does it compete? How is it going to be going forward? Do I have an exit plan? Is it good? In case I should want to relocate, do something else. Who knows what the reasons are why somebody might want to get out of business. But if they do, will it retain value and will it be a good investment for the next person so I can sell it and make some money? All those things kind of tie together. So could someone provide a better customer experience? I hope not. I hope we're at the top in the neighborhood because it is a small marketing area. If all these questions or any of these sound familiar, it's time to regain your competitive advantage. That's very important. Let's talk about the competitive advantage and how it works. Today, you want to be the destination of choice. These stores chose to be destinations of choice. People want to go in that neighborhood store. They want to know it's a nice store and it's definitely the most desirable store. It's an attraction. You know, Mr. Pope's store in the middle of a neighborhood, he did a fantastic job of creating this very desirable store right in the neighborhood. All of you, I can point to a number of you have done this. And those stores are destinations of choice. And that's a key point. Big washers, larger matching dryers, everything works, changer works. What's the worst thing can happen? A changer doesn't work. You want to put a bullet in the head. That's it, right? If they got to leave your store to go back and find change, they're never coming back. Never. Right? So if you have a changer you're nursing along, it's constantly going down, that could be your #1 reason. You want to improve your business? Changers must work. You know, credit cards, kind of a solution to that. At least in half the store or more. And you know, it's all these opportunities, but those are key elements.